ask, or like I said, techniques that you do, just anything that's simple and grounded that you could share with the audience?
Yeah, well, I'm an energy person and I
Mm-hmm.
really like to work and live and breathe in energy. And so one thing that I do and help my clients with is when they feel that, when they're have the first step is having the conscious awareness of your ego, right?
Right.
But when you're there and you have that, it's in those moments where you hear that voice of fear and I say, look at the ego self like a small scared child, tell her you love her and ask her to focus on the light. And I literally have them visualize, light coming down and just shining on that aspect of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
shining on that aspect of themselves. And that can be, especially when something's, when you're really feeling that plague of fear, it can be a really powerful technique because the truth is our imaginations are incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
That is our creation tool and ability. And so there is truth in that moment of shining a light on your ego. You are lessening the role of fear in your life. So that's a really easy and quick technique that I work with my clients to do. And I always say pray for the pause. Start
Oh,
your
I love
day.
that.
Start your day. I mean, because again, if you don't have the awareness, the technique I just described, it won't work. So the first thing you
Right.
always want is start your day to have the pause, to recognize those fears in the moment. Because when you have the pause, then you can do anything with it.
Yes. And it's not allowing yourself to run away on that crazy train, right? Because
Yeah, down the
it
rabbit hole.
right down the rabbit hole. Is it going in the direction that you want, or can we press pause momentarily and reflect on it? And that is where we create the space and allow for the awareness. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So do you believe that we all really have a soul purpose?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely do. And I mean, again, at the highest level, I believe everyone's sole purpose is to align more with their light,
Yep.
right? It's to, up in spirit world, we're light bodies, and the lesson, the opportunity here in this life here is to anchor that light down
Mhm.
amongst, a fear-based kind of dense world.
Yeah.
And that is what we spend many times doing. And that soul purpose, the way that you can most do that in this specific lifetime is always innately tied to a divine blueprint that is within your heart that speaks to you through the things you're passionate about, through those longings, through those dreams that you had as a kid. And when you
Yes.
trust and follow that, you achieve that, I'm going to call it that higher Uber goal, which for all of us is to be present, to anchor in the light, to step out of the fear. But that is your path to achieving that in this lifetime.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I'll often tell people like, what if, and my what if is, in my opinion, what if it really was as simple as follow your bliss? What are you being called to do? We're not given these inspired thoughts and ideas to just let them pass. Like there's a reason that it's coming there. We don't need to figure out exactly how we're going to create all of it or manifest it right now, but there's a reason if something keeps showing up that it's showing up for you like that.
Yeah, it's not an accident,
Yeah.
None of our destiny is to suffer. Suffering's a choice, and at the same time, choosing your happiness, choosing your bliss, not ignoring it, listening to it is also a choice. And
Yeah.
you follow that like one little kernel at a time. To your point, if you get, obsessed or, hung up on the how, you're back in the fear, right? That's a fear
hmm
energy. But when in doubt, return to the bliss, return to what gives you joy, 100%. And that is your path. That is your soul purpose path. When you're in your joy and your bliss, you're living your soul purpose.
Yes. Oh, totally agree. So are there any other key lessons in your book? Because this book is, I mean, sounds amazing, and I would definitely encourage people to check it out. I'm just wondering if there's any other lessons that you'd like to share.
Yeah, one of the lessons that we have talked about a bit, it's lesson 2, it's, your soul purpose is a heart-centered endeavor. And I always really that's the one I find that really takes a while to fully sink in like 100% a heart-centered endeavor. It's not something you're going to figure out or think your way into. It's
Yes.
truly about opening, expanding your heart, and connecting to what's there and following and trusting that. That is, that is the essence of so much of it. So it's really the one that can, take a while to really understand and connect to, because of the way we're conditioned, because of what we kind of bring to the table from our
Mhm.
history when we step into this work. So it's the biggest one in a way, but it's also the most challenging one. And then another one is lesson 6, and it's about believing in what you want with conviction. And I entitled the book Dare to Believe, because when in doubt, for me, it always comes, because you step into this work and this journey, you have your highs and lows with it. And when in doubt, it's always come back down to belief and trust for me. I always say the truth within your heart is often more real than the one you see. And in those moments, it's about
Yes.
believing what's there, no matter what's showing up, going back to belief, going back to belief. So you asked for one, I gave you two, but those are two that are
Bonus.
are
I
really
love it.
important. Yeah. Yeah.
No, and it's so true what you said about the truth in your heart being so much more important or prominent, or like that's the ultimate truth versus what we see. Because anybody that's into, which if you're listening to us right now, you are into all of the spiritual goodies and energy and all of that. We It takes time to manifest the reality of what we see. So, trusting what's coming from within and cultivating that, and how do we bring that forth to then be able to live in that space, right? To be surrounded by these things that our heart wants. That's how you bring your soul's purpose about.
Absolutely. 100%.
So good. So we have just a little bit of time left here, and I definitely want to make sure that we give people the ability to contact you. So if you wouldn't mind sharing with the audience, how do people connect with you and the special offer? I believe you have a special offer for our audience as well.
I do. So my website is jessicajoins.com. That's
Mm.
Joines. It's a little unique. And I want to say I put a lot of free content out on Instagram. I'm just at the end of running a 30-day soul purpose challenge, and that's Jessica L. Joins. And I do have a free offer.
Yeah.
I am offering to your listeners a free 50-minute coaching session. And we really get into it. Like you, I believe, Jillian, I bring in a lot of energy into what I do. So we get right into what's going on and what's showing up.
That's so good. And she said 50, right?
50. Yes.
50 minutes,
Yes.
guys. You have an opportunity to speak with her. And I mean, I think this was an awesome conversation. Again, we're definitely aligned in what we teach. So take her up on that. Go find her, follow her, connect with her. Um, Before I wrap up, I'm just wondering, is there anything else that you're feeling called to share? Any points that you didn't get to say that you think is important to get across in this show?
I just say what would have been helpful to me to hear, if whatever that truth is that's in your heart that you might have been negating, ignoring, not listening to, just know it's there for a reason. Know it's there because it is your path. It is what's possible for you.
Mhm.
And the moment you just take one little step into any aspect of that, you will see that that is true. You'll be shown that that's true. And so much that might be uncomfortable for you right now will start to slip away.
Yes, I love that. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
It is true, following what we're being called towards, following that truth, not getting caught up in the frenzy of the how are we going to make this happen, how do we make this big picture come to life. It's taking that one step, just like Jessica said. That's the important thing, and that's also why, and I'm sure you agree with this, Jessica, it's so important to have coaches, to have mentors, to have people around, to surround yourself with people who can help you get there. because without that, I mean, we're not meant to do this alone. I think that's, one of the cosmic jokes, in my opinion, of the universe. It's like you come here, and so many of us have these missions, these purposes, these things we're supposed to be doing, but we really can't fulfill it to the extent that is possible alone. So invest in yourself through a coach, a mentor, a program, a something. Get her book, guys. Call her up. You got 50 minutes with her. I have no doubt it'll be an amazing conversation. And for wrapping up here for me as well, I just want to let you all know, head over to my website, jillianbeth.love, and you can get my new 5 simple steps to leverage your feminine superpowers, which also helps you align with your soul purpose, just like we were talking about on today's show. You can turn on the creativity juices, get clear on the next steps that you need to take. So I'd love for you to head over there and grab that. And you can also check out my YouTube channel, Jillian Beth, there, and find the replays of our shows. And I have some other cool conversations going up there as well. I want to interact with all of you. So I'd love to see you there. And as always, thank you for hanging out with Jes-sica and I today. Definitely stay tuned next week. She's coming back to talk a little bit about her business journey. And my desire is for each and every one of you to be living your soul's purpose. Thanks again, Jes-sica.
Thank you so much for having me. It was truly a joy.
Absolutely.